This episode of Reasonably Spontaneous Conversations is brought to you in part by In Search of the New Compassionate Male. For more information, go to newcompassionatemale.com.
Hello, world. It's me, Dennis, and welcome to a reasonably spontaneous conversation. We're in our 13th year, actually 13th year over 40 years, but as far as our seasons are concerned. And today I have a very special guest that we're fortunate to have, which is Serena Hendrix. Hello, Serena.
Hi, Dennis.
It's a pleasure to have you here. Now, you recently have completed a movie and called Adam's Package, and our director, Renee Jaworski, is going to play a clip from it, and we're going to talk about it on the other side, among many other subjects we have to talk about today. Go, Renee.
This needs to be published.
No way.
It'll be a bestseller.
Not interested.
But we could
Look, it's too dangerous.
But people have a right to know.
The powers that be are afraid it'll freak them out. Change everything they believe in.
The truth is not negotiable.
I know, but...
But what?
Look, I'm not even a writer. I only did it because I had nothing else to do. It just sort of wrote itself.
Yeah, but everything happens for a reason. I know this publisher, and
No.
you can't just run away from this like it never happened.
Well, all right. Now, having shown that clip, give us background and tell us the premise of Adam's Package.
Where do I begin? There are so many things going on in this movie at the end. Adam is a male model currently under house arrest, living in a townhouse that is haunted by an opera singing ghost named Lulu, who is who you saw pop up behind me.
Yes.
He finds top secret government documents hidden in his townhouse, and there are many people that don't want these documents to get out. So he is being pursued by those people. He's being pursued by me, my character Eve, who shows up unannounced and kind of just implants herself into his life after only meeting him once.
Who is Eve? Who is this character?
Eve is a coworker, also model. They did a runway show together in the past, and for some reason, Eve really just took a liking to Adam and could not ignore this I wouldn't even say connection in the beginning, because he barely remembers her when she first arrives, but there was something about him that she just couldn't shake. So she showed up at his house. She got his address from her agency and just showed up at his house. But it seems to be that she showed up at a time where he really needed some company and some encouragement and maybe a little bit of direction. So they complement each other very, very well, and they bring out kind of very similar things in each other that I don't want to spoil anything. So
no, but that gives us, and there's now, when was this movie made?
This was made in 2019. So
this is pre-COVID times?
Yeah.
All right. And what made you audition for the movie, and what was that process like?
So I originally was called in by one of the producers to audition for the role of Adam's lawyer, who was, I think that role was cast so perfectly with Amy because she was so good at that. And then at the last minute was asked to audition for Eve because I guess they just weren't finding what they were really looking for. So I read for Andrew, the director, and it's funny, our lead is named Andrew, and then our director and writer is named Andrew as well.
Two Andrews, no waiting.
Yeah, not confusing at all. So I read for Andrew, our director, after auditions had already occurred. He was gracious enough to have me, and then I booked it, and that's how I ended up getting the role of Eve. It happened very fast.
How
Very fast.
cool.
Yeah.
Now, do you like the movie shooting process as opposed to, had you done stage, had you done work? I mean, I know as a model, you've done runway work and you've done that, but as far as how was the movie doing it scene by scene, working through that and keeping up the energy? Tell me about that process.
I love it. I think the thing I like the most about it is the sense of community, because when you're shooting a project, everyone is so hyper focused on getting, basically this is the baby, and everybody is so focused
Exactly.
on birthing this baby, and you all are really working together for the same goal. And you work hard, you work long hours. It's, some days are easier than others. And that sense of community that you get, because you are together for many, many days or weeks or however long you're shooting. It's very different than modeling, which is usually, you show up and you have a 1 or 2 day shoot, or, I shoot for regular clients, or I do runway. I don't do runway that much anymore, but in the past when I did runway, you work with the same clients, but you don't see them consistently, like in a big group of time. So I love being on set. I also just love watching film being made and watching the crew and everything. I mean, the crews it's just crazy. They work so hard.
Don't they though?
They rarely get recognized. And I'm just like in complete awe of the crews, because they're the backbone. Like we wouldn't have this industry if it weren't for our crew, So I love
Oh.
I think it's so cool. And to watch other actors work, you learn so much by watching other people. And I love being on set. So yeah.
Well, now when you say that you learn so much because you are now writing a film, you are writing and you want to direct. So were you paying attention when you weren't on screen, paying attention to what the Andrews were doing, what the rest of the crew were doing, so that you could get a sense of and that sense of learning while that was happening?
Absolutely. I mean, if I wasn't in hair and makeup, or, working on my own scenes and my own work, I was definitely watching. Why would you not? It's like handed to you, like, here you go. Free class. So.
Exactly. You get a chance to be there in that. Well, what attracted you to getting out of the experience of going into modeling and an experience of doing that? Tell me about that impetus, because it's its own world. I mean, modeling is its world, and we'll talk about the rest of the parts of your career. But the process of the modeling world and having to have your image just so perfect in order to be able to convey. What was that experience like?
I started modeling very, very young. I got scouted when I was walking down the street to my after school job when I was in high school.
Mm-hmm. And where were you?
I grew up in South Orange County, California. And
Okay.
I worked at mailboxes, etc. I packed boxes.
Got it.
And so I was walking to mailboxes, etc., and I got scouted for the first time. And my mom said, absolutely no way. You got to finish school first. So I finished high school, did I think about my first year of college, and then got scouted again. And so then I started the modeling. And it's just a very different environment. And now
Certainly.
I have to say now, because I still have a modeling agency and I still, book modeling jobs, but just not as much because I'm doing more of the acting stuff. And now it's so different. And my agency is wonderful. They're so body inclusive. They're so encouraging. They're so kind and just aware of how sensitive that type of environment can be. But when I started, it was very rigid. Like
Exactly.
and it's a lot of pressure. And I also put myself through school while I was modeling full-time in New York, and my midterms would fall during fashion week. So it was a lot to balance all of that, because I wanted to be a student, but I also had to keep my physical appearance in line so that I could continue working, so then I could continue to pay for my schooling. So it was like a lot of pressure. And when I left New York 8 years ago, and moved to LA, I took a break from modeling because I was just burnout. Like
Absolutely.
I needed a break, and I was
How
really,
did you where did that internal compass come from that allowed you to be able to say, okay, look, no, I need to step away, rather than, because it takes a lot of people down. The self-image, especially, I mean, I cannot even imagine what it's like for women, to be able to have to be able to have the body image and to be judged so deeply on that. Where did that come from?
part of it was by choice. And then in the beginning, part of it was kind of just how it happened because I moved to LA very quickly. My now husband, he was my boyfriend at the time, and the
This
love
is
of
Olivier.
Olivier. Yes.
We need to have a shout out name, right?
Yes. Olivier. We were dating at that time, and he got offered basically his dream job, and had to move to LA in 6 weeks notice. He's also from California originally. And I could not live without him. I knew he was my person and I had to go with him. And so I just, left New York, and it was coming to a time when I was knowing that I wanted to take a break from modeling, but I was
Wonderful.
scared. And so I came to LA with no agency here, no connections yet, nothing. And so it was kind of a good timing for that because it was forced, but also I needed it and I knew I wanted it. I always equated it to, it's like a bad boyfriend that you need to break up with, that you're having a really hard time letting it go. So I took a break from modeling, and then now, I do it now. When I book things, it's really fun and I don't feel as much pressure. But it is, there is still some pressure. And like now
Sure.
I just had a baby. So my body is very different than it was, a year ago at this time. So I'm still navigating that, but I do have to say that the industry is definitely more inclusive now than it was when I started.
That's part of. Now we're going to get to the baby because we will talk about that. But I'm going to stay in the order on this. So now you're in California.
Right.
You're there with Olivier.
Right.
You don't have any particular prospects what happens next?
I just start letting everyone that I know that I'm in LA and that I want to work. And then, I called my reps in New York and said, I need you to make some phone calls for me. I made you guys a lot of money.
Hey, come on. It's time to
come on, pay your dues, guys.
Damn right.
So I first was put in touch with my commercial agent, John at John Pierce Agency, who I'm still with 8 years later. And first audition he sent me on, I think it was for a Google national commercial. I booked it. So that started off great. It's still great. I love working with him. So that started. And then I met a producer that lived in my apartment building, and she was working on a film where they were looking for a French girl. So I'm not French, but everyone thinks I am.
I know, but you could play. Are you kidding? Yes.
So they had me come in and read for this role of this American girl pretending to be French. So it was French speaking for half of it.
Right.
And I booked that. And so that's kind of what started the theatrical side of things in LA. I had done some things in New York, and then eventually I got a modeling agency. And then that's just kind of, it started going, and here we are.
Well, yeah, but you continued to work and you continued to do. Did you begin to take acting classes to begin to work on your craft? I mean, talk about the process of building the acting persona and learning what this is about.
So it's kind of funny. I feel like I just jumped into the deep end as far as booking that film, and then, the few things that I'd booked in New York prior to coming to LA. And then after I booked that film, it started getting into film festivals, and I thought, okay, like it's time to get serious. So I started at Margie Haber Studios, was there for a little while, had an instructor that I absolutely loved working with. He eventually went and started his own studio, called the Clyde Bernardi Acting Studio. And I followed him there. And that's where I've been since. I haven't been in the past few months because of the baby, but
Right.
that's where I've been working on my craft since this whole thing kind of started. I love it there. And just trying to I like to break down scripts because that
Hmm.
helps me work faster and better. So I will sometimes just go on breakdowns and pull up, show facts and pull up a script and work on breaking it down, just so I don't get rusty. So those are just things that I do to work on my craft. Or if I'm feeling a certain emotion and I'm feeling it very strongly, I make sure to take a moment to clock what is triggering that and
Hmm.
try and save it inside of me, so that I can go back and pull that out of my tool chest basically when I need it. But those are all things that I kind of do to work on my craft.
And then do you take that and go into the writing? What was your impelling to begin to write and to do that?
So when I was younger, I loved writing. I really loved writing, and I don't know what happened as I've gotten older, but I guess life, and I got busy doing a lot of other things. I just
Certainly.
put that on the back burner, and I just thought I have so many ideas in my head and so many stories that I want to tell, and it's just time to write them down.
Hmm.
And my interest in this industry, but not necessarily as an actor, has grown a lot in the past year or so. Um, being more, on the back end and doing the writing or directing or whatever it is. So I just was like, you know what? I'm just going to start writing this. And I started writing a film, and it's not done yet. It's still a work in progress, but you know, I I just like it. It's a very kind of relaxing thing for me. It like quiets my mind, weirdly enough. And it's a completely different experience than acting. So yeah, I just was like, I'm gonna do this. And COVID was the perfect time to like start that. So that's where we are. I would say I'm probably 75% done, but now I've like thought about it for a couple of since my baby was born, and
Yeah.
I have some very big change, which I think
We're getting a little bit of
change
intermittent in here,
to
but
me.
that'll. All right, we were getting a little bit of our internet vibes are coming. A little the packets were getting jammed up against one another, but we'll continue on that. All right, so let me ask you this now: How I am 73 today. How old are you today?
Happy birthday!
No, I meant not
Oh,
today. I just
I
meant
did it.
today.
33 today. I
But
have birthdays on my mind. It was my dad's yesterday, my brother's tomorrow. So I'm like, happy birthday to everybody.
thank
I'm
you.
30.
30. All right. So how does the world of acting and the world, both as a woman and as an artist and a performer, look at 38 as you're going? Our director now is 40, and she is we're Renee is we're working on 40 and Fabulous. That this is a time when women are coming into their power and coming into the how does the world look from the inside out for you? Uh,
So, as of my background in modeling, ageism was always a thing. They didn't want older models, which is so crazy because it's like they're looking at how you look. They don't care. So I've had
yeah.
so much anxiety throughout my whole career, through my entire career about my age because
Mhm.
I, am older per se, or I started older, right?
Yeah.
So I think about that. And the funny thing is, you become a better actor as time goes on because you have more life experiences under your belt. You feel more things, you see more things. Like the world becomes bigger and bigger and bigger to you. And so you embrace that and you're actually a better performer. And I'm just really tired of feeling anxiety about that. So I've just kind of let it go because I've accomplished so much in my life that it doesn't really matter. I'm
Yeah.
happy with myself, so it's okay. But I think there is a lot of anxiety for other women as well. And I don't think that should be the case. And if you look on TV and in, current films and stuff, there's so many roles for women that are in their 40s or 50s or whatever it is. It's not just one age bracket. Like, it's okay. So yeah, it was anxiety inducing at first, but I've realized that I'm a better actor the older I get. So it's fine. Just make sure you wear really nice face cream and it's cool.
Yeah. But this is what if we're going to reflect the world as the world that we see it. Sometimes I'll watch television and I'll go, wait a minute. The people that I see on just the ordinary people that I see on the are not reflecting who I see in the grocery store. And I realize that there has to be some kind of, there has to be some kind of an upgrade there because of what we're having in our fantasy. But what I want to see is that where do we get a chance to have that reality and get a chance to bring the truth of what we're doing?
It's funny. I was asked an interview question with doing press with Adam's package recently. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it something about what does diversity mean in
Exactly.
To you as well. And my answer was very similar to what you just said. I said, people make film and television, with the hopes that you can really imagine yourself in that, in the hopes that it is a reflection of the actual real world around you. And so we need diversity. We need diversity in age, in race, in culture, in ethnicity, because that's the only way that it's going to reflect what we're really in. That's the only way that you're actually going to be able to completely immerse yourself and lose yourself in it if it's tied to some sense of reality.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. And this is the fascinating thing about this. And I want to talk a little bit I only have 1,000 subjects to talk with you about this, but I do want to talk about something that I cannot ever experience, nor really I can empathize, but I can't experience, is gestating a human being inside your body. What?
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was, I'm still speechless, obviously, because I can't even put into words what it was like to grow an entirely functioning, beautiful human being in such a relatively short period of time. When you really think about it, it's truly a miracle, and modern science is mind-blowing.
Yes.
I always thought that I would hate being pregnant. I really just didn't look forward to ever being the pregnancy part. And honestly, it was really cool. I had a huge belly. I loved it. I looked like I had a beach ball under my shirt all the time. It was really cool because I could feel my son moving and kicking and responding to me, pushing on my belly and stuff. And that was something that no one else in the entire universe was in on except for the two of us. It felt like this secret little club that we had before he was born, because it was just the two of us. Don't get me wrong, there were times where I was just like, I don't want to be pregnant anymore at this point. I'm so hot, it's fine. But it was truly incredible that I was able to just grow him in 40 weeks is really not that much time, and it went by so quickly. And now he's he was born 3 months ago, and it's going by so fast, and he changes so much. And I just look at him sometimes. I'm like, I can't believe that you're mine. This is mind blowing to me. I just can't sometimes I'm just like, whose baby is this? Wait, you're my baby. This is crazy.
Did he have now? What did you and Olivier name him?
His name is Jura.
Jura, for the region in France that we were talking about before the show,
Right.
that was there. Now, did he have a personality and proclivities and bent when he came out? I mean, did his personality begin to emerge, and you go, wow, that there's something already there, that they're not just a blank slate?
So in the very beginning, they're pretty sleepy and they sleep a lot. They eat and sleep and go to the bathroom, and they have
then my life. Okay. Oh no, go ahead.
Personality here and there. Like, it was funny because when he was on the inside at a certain time every night, he would go crazy, like in my belly, and my belly would be like morphine and look like I had an alien in there. It was crazy. And when he came out, that same time of night would be his most active period of the day, even as like a brand new newborn tiny infant. So that was kind of funny, but it takes a little time for their personality to come out, and it's really coming out now. And it's getting really fun.
Isn't it amazing to see that emerge?
Yes. It's he's smiling at me, and you can actually interact with him, and he's starting to make noises, and he tries to copy noises that you make, and he's starting to grab at things, and he's darling, and
that's wonderful.
He's very opinionated.
He's what?
He's
opinionated? He knows exactly what he How fun.
I'm losing. Are you there? There we go.
Yep. Yeah, now we go.
So
now tell me how once the movie is done, and now here comes the publicizing the movie, so that you have, because one of the things that I feel, because I've done a lot of reading of biographies and a lot of biographies of actors, and everything was really segmented in the past, in the growing up times. We had your publicist who got us to you, and the wonderful Nadine Jolson of Jolson Creative, and she grew up in Hollywood royalty because she was, she was Al Jolson's great niece, and so that was a time when people were segmented away. But now you have to run your own career. You have to actually sit down and to say, wait a minute, I'm going to need to do this. I'm going to need to start writing and directing and promote. And now you're also being part of promoting the movie. So what are you doing with Adam's Package in order to promote the movie? And what is that process like?
Social media is a huge thing. So posting on social media to keep reminding people it is streaming, and it's really fun, and to get everybody, get eyes on anything about the film, but just it's streaming, let's watch it. So I'm posting on social media. I, have done interviews. We had a little party at my house the day it was streaming, started streaming, which is funny because the baby was, I think, a week old at that point. So it was kind of like a little thing to do. It's just the movie released like the same week I gave birth. It's just kind of a wild time. And I let my manager know, so they're posting on their end as well.
Yep.
And just asking my family and friends and everyone I know to let people that they know that it's streaming, and let's watch it because it's fun. Awesome.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
So what is next? What's on your plate? What do you look at as to what you want to do, Serena?
I really want to finish this script, and get this film made. So that's kind of my focus right now. And to be honest, my son, right now, I'm not in a huge rush to jump back into crazy auditioning again. I'm easing back into it. I also had a physical recovery after giving birth was longer than I expected because I had a 10-pound baby. So, I'm focusing on him. I am only having one child. And I don't want to miss this time. So that's the number one priority to me. But I really want to get this script finished, and try my hand at directing. So that's kind of my like passion project right now. And then, I have started auditioning here and there. I have a few pins going on, but I can't really talk about them, sadly.
Oh, of course not.
But things are starting to go. It's when you're very pregnant, is your body of work changes. I did a lot more modeling when I was pregnant, obviously, than filming. But yeah, I was lucky enough to do, some really, really cool maternity shoots for Nike and Gap and these huge companies that are being inclusive and hiring actual pregnant models instead of putting fake bumps on models that are not pregnant.
Right.
So I thought that was really cool. And I can't wait to like show Jura one day, like, hey, this is what I did when I was growing you.
Well, one of the things I want to ask you, because one of the things here at the Tardan Media Network, and our COO, who happens to be directing today, Renee Jaworski, is we believe that the world is going to be saved by the Western woman. That this is what the Dalai Lama said, and we're following that as a tradition. And so, are you seeing a difference in women in the decision-making roles? The green lighting, the getting in. Are you seeing some changes in there and the demographics from the inside as you're watching that happen?
Yes, there are definitely more women in the decision-making roles. As far as this, they're not enough in my, but we have.
No, there are not enough. Now, this is our start, but this is like a seed. It was like, it's a seed, and now we have to do everything we can to nurture that seed and make sure that there are more women in decision, because it's one thing to be in front of the camera, but it's like you're doing, like when you're writing and you're directing, and then when you're getting a chance to be a network executive, to be able to green light the kinds of projects that will be able to uplift us all.
I completely agree. I think it's a seed that's been planted, and it's just a tiny sprout right now, and I hope that it grows into a giant tree.
Well, we're going to do it. And Serena, we're going to follow you and continue to follow you in the career. I hope we'll get a chance to talk with you again and to get your perspective as you learn and grow and mature, and to see that this opportunity and maturity. This is one of the neat things that I'm finding is that, and please do not believe the press that they say about aging, because we had Hal Linden from Barney Miller, who played Barney Miller, and had him on, and he's 91, and Norman Lear is 100, and we're in the creative times of our lives. There's a time for us to be able to continue to be part of this creative process and to learn from what we can from this platform, so that we can learn from where you are at 38, where we can learn from where Renee is at 40, and here we are. But it's such a pleasure to meet you. Before I go off, let me just ask you, is there anything that we have not talked about that is on your mind and heart today?
No, I think we really covered a lot of bases, Dennis. All I can say is, obviously, I'm going to plug the movie. Go watch the movie. It's super fun. And
Adam's Package, exactly. And it'll be right there, and we'll have the link there, and any link to streaming. And I understand that there's a streaming gift that's going to be coming on. Yes. So check out the read the fine print, because you're going to want to see where this is. And thank you to the two Andrews, and especially for Nadine, who for Nadine Jolson, who brought you here to us, and is such a delight. And anyway, but thank you so much, Serena. And Renee, would you pop on just for a second?
Yes, of course.
All right.
Thank you so much, Serena.
All right. And now, can you put us on in a 3-shot, Renee? The vertical, the three of us on the same thing. All right. And then put me in the center. We'll drag me and put me in the center here.
He co-directs.
All right. Now here is, because I want to talk right now for a second to all the men out there. And I want you to know, men, here we have two to my right, we have Serena Hendrix, who is a model, who is an actor, who is a writer and a director and doing her script. She just gave birth to an entire human being. She's learning F1 motorcycles. She is a Pilates master and working on Pilates and working on the script. On my right, I have Renee Jaworski, and Renee Jaworski went to Oxford. She's a practicing attorney. She is a novelist. She's a playwright. She's the COO of the Tardan Media Network. She's a musician with hundreds of songs out there. I just am letting you realize this, men. Empower these women. They're out there doing all this. Please do it. I want you to look at this. Look at the models that we have to be able to do. Yes, it's going to mean that we have to up our game. No question, men. We have to up our game because these powerful, amazing women are here and they're lifting us all up, and we need it because this is our time. Thank you, Serena. And thank you, Renee, both of you, for all that you do, for what you're bringing to the planet, and for the gifts that we're having here. Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody, for watching today. And we will certainly see you all next time.
This episode of Reasonably Spontaneous Conversations has been brought to you in part by In Search of the New Compassionate Male. For more information, go to newcompassionatemale.com.